Yeah.
And it's really dumb when
Yeah.
you think about it.
Sure. No, it's a good one. So the question that just came up, Shelley's question was, do we recycle in Missoula? So I'm gonna pull up the recycling symbol here. And I'll give you my own, well, in fact, I guess while we're on it, I'll give you my own take on it, because this is the book that I'm writing, and I think I've got a figure on it right here. So this is still a draft. It's a little wonky. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here's my take on the recycling symbol. At the top, you have the consumer, and we're all consumers, right? You go to the store, you buy your food, it's in a package, you buy your gadget, your sports equipment, what have you, it's in some kind of packaging. Right away, that packaging, it's material, something is going to happen to it, right? You're gonna use your golf club or your soda can or whatever, and then that container, something's gonna happen to it. Well, where does it go? It goes, and the reason I've drawn it this way, it goes downstream. It goes to the recycler, who is taking all of the material. Now, I think where you're going is to say, well, this person is not really a recycler. This person is a collector, baler, triager, sorter, what have you, just keeping track of where everything goes. And then where does it go? Well, it kind of gets shoved along the bottom. It's going to go in a truck, it's going to go on a train, it's going to sit in a giant pile. Maybe if it's organic, maybe it turns back into dirt. But it's sort of like literally along the bottom of the triangle. And the only way to get that material, back to the consumer, back to the plant, back to where there's some value in it, the manufacturer is going to have to, again, get back to where we were before. Put some chemistry into it, put some mechanical energy into it, put some thermal energy into it, so it turns back into a product and then gets consumed again. So you're right. The recyclers that we call ourselves, it's a little more subtle in that. It's sorting, it's collecting, it's baling, it's triaging, it's bartering, what have you. So yeah, your point's well taken.
I would put it between consumer and recycling. I would put sorter and process.
Right, okay.
Because like here in Montana, you take it to Axon, you take it to Pacific, they're not recyclers either. They're not reusing it.
Right.
Packaging it, shipping it out
Yeah.
to a place that will break it down and make it into and send it to the manufacturer.
Yeah, so this is an overly simple thing, but yeah, between the consumer and the recycler, yeah, there's a bunch of entities that touch the material. I try to take it one step further, and obviously all these things come down to time and money, and what I would like to see happen, you can see the way the dollar signs are flowing. Obviously the consumer, well, and this is simplistic too, because somewhere between the consumer and the manufacturer is the distributor, the retailer, et cetera, the marketing. And this is the direction the money flows. I mean, the money will flow from the person who's consumed the product, eventually back to the manufacturer. The manufacturer needs the raw materials, so what do they use for that? Well, money should flow to the recycler to get access to those materials, and it does. And then also, I think, in terms of the consumer, let's just instead replace recycler with landfiller, right? I mean, right now, the consumer is sending money to the landfiller. What I would like to see in the new model is the consumer sends the money to the recycler.
Why doesn't the recycler give the money to the consumer?
That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. And
Well, they do some things.
It's kind of more of a fitness.
yeah,
You probably end up spending more money and energy, you know, doing that whole process yourself. You know, by the time you take it down to the recycler, it gives you a penny a can, and you spend
Well,
Yeah.
Three
you can't-
times that
You
sort
can't take
of-
a little baggie down.
Right.
You gotta like save this stuff. But like Actions, every Saturday, they give an extra 10 cents on different things throughout. the-
Little incentive to get you in there,
And
yeah.
let me tell you, it does make, that 10 cents can make it.
Yeah, so there's your kind of, your marketers there, so here's the question, for this is a classic fundamental economics question, and we'll just end it on this, because this is a good thing to kind of take away with you for the day. So, Sam, I don't know if I'm going to do this exactly right, but Sam and Shelley, so I have, let's just say, well, I don't. Let's just say I have $50 in my wallet here. And I'm either gonna keep the money, or I'm gonna give some of the money to both of you. Shelley's gonna get some, Sam's gonna get some. And I'm gonna let, and we could do this with any two people in the class, or any two entities, or whatever, but it's a three-body problem, if you will. And if you go back and look at physics, there is no steady state solution to any three-body problem. You guys studied that before, engineering?
It's the second law.
Well, it's a little more subtle than that, but like there's no actual fundamental steady state solutions with three-body, but we're the three people, so I've got the $50. Now, Shelley, how much of this $50 do you want?
I want 45.
You want 45, okay. Sam, what do you think? Will you take $5 and let Shelley have 45, or should I just keep my money?
Yeah, I'll take 5.
Will you really? Okay, all right. What if it, good man, okay. You got $5 that you didn't have before. Now, I could have done it the other way too, and like offered Sam the opportunity to speak up first, and he might have said, hey, I'll just take 25, and Shelley. Now, you can see though, if you get right down to it, and Shelley's like, oh, I need $49.99. What would you do then? Would you take a penny?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you might be in the minority there. But what if it got all the way down to would you take nothing? Would you like to see Shelley get the $50 and you get nothing?
Sure.
Is that okay? All right. Because you might do a back deal with her.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But that's kind of the fundamental problem where, and I've interviewed a few of my neighbors, and they're like, wait, now if you're going to recycle all this, shouldn't you be paying me for it? Well, then it gets into, what's your time worth, what's the transportation cost worth, et cetera, et cetera.
But I guess, yeah, aren't you doing that through like, if you can do it through services, right, by like ease, by making it single stream, like front door pickup. Like
Yep.
all these things that are, like we were saying earlier, like time and energy. And so that is a payment in a way, because
Yep.
you don't have to pay those things. You don't have to do that in order to recycle.
It's
Yeah.
a resource
Right.
that needs to be utilized.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but it also depends, I mean, if they give you a bag of cans a week, that ain't crap. You're not gonna get nothing, no money,
Mm-hmm.
unless you save it up,
Mhm.
then take it in.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you're using your time and gas, they just get a walk across the street
Mhm.
from your front lawn.
Right, right,
And
right.
you come back and say, hey, I want money
I
for
want,
that.
I want my 20 cents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, take your shit back.
Yeah. Or, go and form your own cooperative or whatever and work it out that way, yeah, so.
I mean, if you gave me your cell phone, and I dismantled it, and I took the precious metals out of it, that one cell phone is crap to me. It's
Mhm.
not worth my time
Right.
to do that.
Right,
So why would I want to, in a business that's give you anything, you're gonna just throw it away anyway in
Mhm.
the garbage.
mm-hmm, yeah,
So why don't you just give it to me?
yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people throw away one can, because it's one can.
This is one can, yeah,
But if there's 100 people willing to throw that one can into a bag, there's a buck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I kind of see what you're saying about would it be worth a penny? Most folks would say, hell no.
Yeah, right,
you know, not only is it not gonna paint, but I can throw it in your yard, you know, I can throw it under your lawnmower.
Yeah, you pick the penny up off the ground, when you see
Oh,
a
yeah,
penny.
Right.
on the
sorry,
ground.
that's me, but this is me.
Yeah,
If I see a free couch,
Going for it.
if I see a free couch on the curb, I go reach for the cushions.
No, I see a quarter or a nickel or a dime sometimes, I look at a penny, I go, I don't want to bend over.
Yeah.
Then I'm afraid what people will think of me.
But I will pick up cans.
Yeah.
I will pick up cans.
Yeah,
I'm at like a nickel limit.
yeah.
Really, nickel
Yeah,
man.
nickel minimum, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't stop at that. Nickel, yeah.
What if it was somebody who threw 5 pennies out? Like every now and
You
again.
see, yeah.
What
Have
about
you seen
that?
people just throwing pennies?
No, but every now and again, like, especially during street cleaning weather, because I walk a lot, and after a while you notice the glint of a coin.
Yeah, that's how quick the concentration.
Yeah, but there's, every now and again, in certain places, people will just pitch up all their pennies. So you'd be walking along. So you would pick up 10 pennies.
If they were closer together.
See, I think if you count how many pennies you saw during the day, like, God, I could have had a quarter. All of this up. I mean, you would ever think that? I mean.
Well, it does. I mean, it really does that. I mean,
I
if it was 2 bits a day and you jarred your 2 bits every day, you know, at the end of the year, you're gonna have what, $8, $10?
But
Yeah.
The cost of a
towards what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Is it looking at it
How
on
about
the
that?
economic side more of like part of the problem?
It is,
Shouldn't
yeah.
look at it as economic benefit, it should be more like a societal duty.
Yeah.
And we're doing our part to live together and not destroy what.
It's true, and Mike, this, that's a great point, Jason, and what I've kind of come to, and I also learned this through Nathan Hansen, who's worked with on the recycling problem, is I don't think we're really out there to like change everybody's mind. It's like pick your battles. I'm kind of done with like fighting the system. I would rather just much better like find my little place in society, provide that service, and not make enemies out of it. Yes.
Well, I think it's also very difficult to be consistent, even for, you know, I try to stay conscientious, but there's times, well, I've got a plastic bottle right there. I'm gonna recycle it as many times as I can, but,
Yeah.
I mean, there's times that it's just, I don't know if it's convenience, or I'm tired, or I just, you know, there was some other thing that, we're supposed to be recycling number 2 this week, and last week we weren't. You know, it's difficult to be consistent.
Yeah, and I think what we'll find is the devil's in the details and in the
Yeah.
logistics, so. All right, well, I'll see you back here on Thursday. In the meantime, hop into that discussion board. I think it's going to be a really good one for this class. Let me know what you want to do. Let me know what your passions are, and we'll make sure that happens this semester.
Yeah, I think we should go down and look at the recycling center.
We will. We'll be down there.